Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Let rain fall, let rain
Good afternoon and welcome back to Laurel Park, and thank you for joining us on this Saturday afternoon on Today at the Races. I'm Gabby Gaudette, joined by Keith Bustel. It feels like it's been a while since we've been on the same stage together.
It's been a while, a couple weeks maybe.
Yeah, it feels
back.
Good to be back.
Back together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we've got great racing on tap for this weekend. We've got 10 races today. We've got 10 races tomorrow. Tomorrow's card looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It took me a while to get through tomorrow's card.
I'm going to be up until the wee hours of the morning and then waking up again going through that card, no doubt about it.
And we have beautiful weather on tap this afternoon. It was a gorgeous day yesterday, but unfortunately we had, I think, 2 inches of rain in the area late Thursday. So we were off the turf yesterday, but today it's a beautiful sunshiny day. We're going to get to the turf course today. Also happening today, we have that All-American Barbecue happening on the apron here at Laurel Park. That's going to be happening from 12 to 5 p.m. It's a la carte pricing, so go to the apron and check that out. We also have the All-American Handicapping Challenge, and a couple of people have been asking me about this, so I'm going to tell you a couple of the rules here. The format is a $2 mythical win place wager on the last 5 races of the day, so kicking off in the 6th race. So you have to have your picks in before post time for the 6th race. It's $20 per entry, a maximum of 2 entries per person. So go check that out. It's a guaranteed pot of $500 for every entry past 50 entries. $20 will be added to the prize pool. So I'm actually going to throw a little ticket in there because I actually like the final 5 races of the day. So check that out. If you want more information, go to the guest services booth. So that'll be a fun thing to take part in. Get some skin in the game there and check that out. We also have some other things coming up. A week from today, we've got 3 stakes races on tap. Saturday, July 15th, we've got the Stormy Blues Stakes, we've got the Caveat Stakes, and we've got the Pearl Necklace Stakes. So the Stormy Blues actually looks like it's, looking at some nominations, it looks like it's going to be a pretty tough race, pretty contentious race. So looking forward to that as we are a week out. And we also have the Crab Feast coming up. That is on Sunday, July 30th. That's happening from 1 to 5 p.m. on the Grandstand apron. You can enjoy hot steamed crabs and ice cold beer along with live racing and a live DJ. You going to get some steamed crabs? Yeah. Do you like to pick crabs?
I love it. I could sit there for hours, no doubt about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but then afterwards you get like cuts and nicks all over your
You do,
hand.
and you sting for a little while, but no, it's well worth it. I enjoy it.
Pour a little Old Bay in there and really make it bad. But no, that's
I love the pain.
A Maryland staple for sure. You have to check that out. That is coming up in just a couple of weeks' time. So what's happening today, we'll take a look at our featured wagers and our carryovers. Late Pick 5 does no carryover in the Late Pick 5, no carryover in the Rolling Super High 5, but that does take place in every race of 7 or more betting interests. The Rainbow 6, that carryover is $5,200. That does start in the 5th race. Again, the Late Pick 5 starts in the 6th race. You have an early Pick 4 ticket. I got a Pick 6 ticket. We're going to look at our track and weather conditions today. It's a beautiful day, and we are fast and firm.
Beautiful. A little breeze, sun shining, some puffy clouds out there. They were rolling the turf course as I made my way down to the studio here. So, yeah, it's a great day for racing. The cookout, you couldn't ask for anything better.
Okay. And we've got first post, as usual, set for 1:10 p.m., fast and firm, getting into the 80s, mostly sunny. couple clouds out there too.
Yeah.
We'll get to today's opener, and this we do start it off on the turf at 5.5 furlongs for this maiden $16,000 event. And it's funny because I had more confidence in the pick six. I like the latter half of the card. I think you like the first half of the card.
I do.
So it's a perfect combination. The Super High Five does kick off in the opener, as does that early pick five with that industry low takeout at 12%. So let's start it off in good fashion. You had a better. Do you have a better idea with this race than I do?
I'm glad this is. That's why I didn't kind of go after the early pick five. It would have just really kind of skyrocketed my ticket. This race was a real head scratcher. You've got some speed. He's a pussycat. The 3-horse. I've seen some of these Bustin' Stones actually run all right on the turf. I think this horse goes a long way. Might get a little bit of pressure from the one Prosperity run. But looking back, not a coupon. I went and watched that race at Arlington Park last out, the 8-horse. First time for Ned Allard. I thought this horse actually ran pretty well. Settled off a fairly contentious pace. A little patient, almost tentative ride by the rider into the stretch. Once he got out, he found a little bit of room late, finished up nicely. I think the extra, 16th of a mile is going to fit, perfect for him. Ned Allard, 22% over the last 90 days. And, boy, has he done well over the last year. Hasn't run a lot of horses at Laurel, but 4 for 10 with an ROI close to $6. I think there's going to be enough speed up front. The horses that he keyed up against out of that race at Arlington were good enough. So that kind of put me over the top with the 8, not a coupon.
All right. I do like that horse as well. I did like the debut performance too. That was under the training of Tammy Domanowski, who usually does really well with her maidens too. So that's always a hard one to improve off of, but he looks like he's coming into the race in good form. The 4, Miss My People. What do you do with this horse dropping down to the bottom off of one try at maiden special weight?
Yeah, this horse did encounter trouble. I've got to go back and change that. We've got that as an open maiden. That was one of those restricted on the Virginia bred day. So the field maybe not quite as strong as your normal maiden special weight. That was a firster for Patrick Noosh that got it done. This horse did check pretty sharply when bumped into the far turn, dropped down to the inside, was a little bit kind of green almost, kind of scraped the paint, upper stretch, flattened out a little bit late, but this little drop in class should enhance the chances today.
And we have Fear of the Fire, who was actually entered in for that for turf. It was rained off the turf and onto the main track last time out, perhaps getting to a preferred condition here today, or surface, excuse me. So that is the opener. That's a head scratcher.
It is.
If I were playing the early pick 5, I feel like I would need at least 4 horses to confidently get through that first leg.
No doubt. 4 or 5, I think you'd have to get there. Papa Vinny, his horse should sit a perfect trip. Third time on the turf. The blinkers went off last time. It was maybe a little bit too close, and then flattened behind Pearsonator. So Pearsonator, a late scratch right in the third race. So Papa Vinny, I think, will be forward a long way. Make some move. Will he sustain? I don't know.
Well, we'll get to your early pick 4 ticket. It took a little bit of a pass on the opener, but we get to the second race. This is the 5,000 non-winners of 2 lifetime conditions, 7 furlongs on the main track. And we'll start it off with that early pick 4 ticket.
Yeah, let's take a look at this ticket. $36 is going to be your fee to pay here to get this thing done. 3 deep to get it started. The 2, 3, and 5 in race 2. Race 2 is not an easy one either, Gabby, to get it started for your early pick 4. 2 deep in race 3. We had that late scratch of Pearsonator, who's going to be your solid favorite. I'm going to go with the 2, Quick Hatch, and the 4, Ice Leg for Rodney Jenkins. Spreading in race 4. I kind of like the 1 in there a little bit. I'm worried about the move down in class after one of his better efforts. Spreading there, 4 deep with the 1, 3, 7, and 8. 2, 8, and 10 to get it done. I like more stormy weather a lot in race 5. I think this horse is going to slip through the cracks. That's your 2 horse in race 5.
When I was re-looking at the card this morning, I was thinking to myself, you know what? Crystal Pier could definitely win this race.
Yeah.
But I think it might go through someone else. So I think you want to have some coverage in that race. That does actually start the pick 6.
Yes.
We'll get to my ticket when we get to that race too. But a good affordable ticket there for the early pick 4. And you're right, this is no easy race for sure. But the 3 Pledge of Love is one. You go back and awkward break. I went back and watched the break of this horse. It almost looked like he did break awkwardly, but then it looked like he had no speed after that.
Yeah.
The field kind of separated from him. So or her, excuse me. So
Yes.
maybe the added distance to 7/8 will help. First off, the claim for John Hartzell. I liked her a little bit, but
Okay.
you could probably sway me either way, especially to the 5 Cheryl's way.
Yeah, the thing that worried me about her, and as you say, I was surprised that she didn't show a little bit more of an early burst after that awkward beginning. She finished okay, like really didn't get going to the last 16th of a mile. 7 furlong distance should suit, but Troth, I think, stretched out a little bit further for Goree Smith. But the drop from 10 right to the nickel, still a little bit scary for me. Reached in, now holding the level. I worry about that. I think Cheryl's Way, typically, is going to be my top selection. Needed the last over a sloppy sealed surface. And okay, try into it a little flat and late. There's not a lot of speed. I think Cheryl's Way, Pledge of Love will probably have the aim of Star Touch. I think Star Touch comes out of some pretty quick internal races. Looking back at that mile race, the mile and 16th, 47-2, 12 and 3 at Pimlico. That was pretty sharp. The track wasn't lightning that day. I think Star Touch goes out. The 3 or the 5 take game, and maybe one of those 2 go by.
And I almost wonder if Star Touch would be better, perhaps, now with the cutback and distance of 7/8, maybe taking those blinkers off, because the blinkers have been put on for the past 2 starts, and it just looks like she's kind of up in the engine and just can't sustain that. So I do like the cutback and distance, and at least she's got a sound bottom underneath of her, whereas we have some other fillies who are stretching out from 3/4 or 5.5 furlongs, so that's always a positive in there.
Seen that time and time again where those horses, they shorten up just a little bit. They get encountered at the quarter pole, and they just have a little bit more left to repel the bid. So that could be the situation in race 2.
That is race 2. Check out Keith Fustel's early pick 4 ticket as we move along to the third. 5.5 furlongs on the turf for this maiden $16,000 race. And we had a key scratch of the 6th, Pearsonator. That was a late scratch, so do take note of that. This horse was 8-5 on the morning line, and I thought the horse to beat, really, because this seemed to be pretty manageable field for the Pearsonator, and I think you learned your lesson last time out by picking Major Anthem. Did you pick him last time out?
I may have. Don't even.
Well, I'm doing
don't bring it up.
I'm doing it today.
You're going to do it today?
Yes.
Did you kind of fall into Major Anthem?
Oh, yes.
No? Okay.
I
Little default
picked him
pick.
second.
Okay.
It's a default pick, and I didn't have enough time to go back and kind of readjust here. But in Major Anthem's defense, this is definitely the easiest field that he's faced to date.
Yeah, you keep talking yourself into that. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, Major Anthem, he just kind of finds that way not to get there. He's unleashed some decent late rallies, but unfortunately, like I say, this is the 33rd time. Quick Hatch, my default pick for Leo Ambrosi. I thought this horse held on quite well, going through some pretty sharp early fractions, 22 and 4. Met the bid around the turn and really didn't give in until very, very late. Other than Kind-Hearted to the outside, I don't know if anybody can run with this horse early. The Lasix goes on, Laura Lee Glasser right to the front, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed this horse can hold on.
Yeah, definitely not impossible. I think that horse has a shot. We also have the 4 Ice Lake by Icebox for Rodney Jenkins getting to a firm going today, and he was okay last time out. I mean, nothing horrible, nothing groundbreaking, but he could definitely improve. Second time turf, getting to a firmer course, and like I said, there's not much in here.
There's not much. I mean, this is what he needs probably to get over the hump if he's going to do it. Ice Lake. Now that race did produce Love You Much, who came back and beat the likes of Quick Catch and Major Anthem last time out. I don't think he's as fast as the 2. He'll make that initial move, see if he keeps going. I think Quick Catch might be able to just take this field pretty much wire to wire. Major Anthem sucks up, should be no worse than 2nd or 3rd.
All right, you use the 2 and the 4 in that leg, right? 2 and 4.
I'm going to stay with the speeds.
No Major Anthem today for you. Maybe 33rd time is the charm for him. We get to the 4th race, a maiden $25,000 event, 6 furlongs on the main track. Scratch the 2 here, and this is a tricky race.
Yeah.
This is another tricky race, and this is why I had more confidence with the second half of the card. The one God loves a center, first and foremost. Susan Cooney's horses have just been running amazing lately, and we saw her have a really nice 2-year-old maiden last weekend. Madam X looks like is going to be a pretty good runner. This horse cuts back in distance and takes a drop in class. I think that he's going to be able to save some ground towards the inside, and he's not that slow. I think he's going to get himself into a good position.
I like that extra hint of speed that he showed last time out in a good race, but winner Pereno ran a buyer of 70, a little slight drop. This could get it done. And Sheldon Russell, he's riding well now. A couple good rides yesterday to Charlie's impressive way. I think God Loves a Sinner can kind of just sit up to the inside, maybe track the speed, and wear them down late. I mean, I'm Shine Bright. The 6 furlongs of turn back is probably right. He had everything his own way, 2 back to get the job done. Couldn't get it done. He's going to be a short price. Sensational Notion. Is that number, that 62, is that a mud-induced number, a slop-induced number, or not? The 2 back try. So God Loves a Sinner might offer just a little bit more value than those other 2.
I agree. And Shine Bright, I guess to play devil's advocate, yes, he did have everything go his way for that maiden 16, but he was coming off a pretty long layoff from November to April, 7/8 off the layoff. Maybe he wasn't 100% fitness there. And now he's got 2 races under his belt, and he improved in his second race off the layoff.
Yeah.
So now, 3rd race off the cycle, you'd have to think that he's going to be in peak form. So I do think that this is a horse that you want to use. Also, just throwing this out there, the 7 Bungalow for Tom Proctor with his maiden claiming first-time starters on the dirt. He hits at about 21%, positive ROI of $2.81, 42% of the money. This was a tricky one for me to really like. He has decent enough workouts at Delaware, so why is he in for the $25,000 tag? I don't know, but for what it's worth, he's successful with these types of horses. This
one might just kind of slip right on in there and get away at an okay price. It'll be interesting to see how they attack this horse at the windows. Out of a mare that was 3 for 15 on the turf, ran in the mid-80s, a half to Map Room, who's predominantly a turf horse. So Shackelford, you think dirt there and a couple good dirt works. This is a real head scratcher, the 7 Bungalow. Tough one to figure out.
I don't know what to do with that horse either. But that is races 1 through 4. We will step aside, and when we come back, we'll take a stab at the 20-cent Rainbow 6 and take a look at the second half of the card right after this. Welcome back to Today at the Races. Now taking a look at the 20-cent Rainbow 6, which kicks off in the 5th race. We've got a carryover of 52.07. I like the sequence today. Here is a look at my ticket. It is $48 for the sequence. Going to be using 4 horses to start things off. I agree with you. I am not crazy about Crystal Pier anymore the more I look at this race. So I think more stormy weather is a tricky one. So going to be using that one and the 8 and the 10 to start things off. Just using the 5, 8 in the next leg, I think we should have a little bit of confidence in just using Mike Trombetta and Kieran McGee. I think that's going to be a tough race to get through, but you can shorten your ticket in that leg. I thought in the next race, race 7, that's a tough one, right? I mean, that race is impossible. So I'm going to be using 5 horses in there, just using the 1, 2 in the 8th, keying off of the 1 in the 9th race, a Hugh McMahon runner. I don't think he's going to be the fastest. She's going to be the fastest from the rail, but she's going to probably sit just off the pace in there, and then going to use the 1, 2, 7 in the finale for $48. So I like it. I felt confidently in my single later today. We'll talk about that race a little bit more when we get to it. But I thought you wanted to have some coverage in this race. And we'll start off with talking about the 3 Crystal Pier, who should get bet off of the last victory last time out with Linda Rice. So we'll show you that video spotlight replay. And she's kind of notorious for creating her own trouble oftentimes, but I think that she was just so much the class of the field in this race that she won.
Yeah, got a really nice trip, was able to save ground and quickly gain around the turn, then eases out and kind of comes inside of a rival there. But what I didn't like, as you saw, she switches leads multiple times. We went back and read my partner Bill Braswell's footnote and noted that now the drop back down. Yeah, looked like she had plenty left in the tank. They're squeezing every little bit out of Crystal Pier. I'm going to take a shot against her. She is going to be bet. If she repeats the last number, it puts her right into the mix. But that worries me when they start doing that.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
that's a
I
little,
mean,
you
Linda Rice
see
is
it.
known for taking an edge with some of her
Oh,
horses,
sure.
right?
Mhm.
So why step her up in class when she's gone through her conditions.
Yep.
She now just won the non-winners of 3, and now they're putting her in for an aggressive placement here. But I can understand the worry that you come from. And more stormy weather, I think she's a legitimate foe. She's had some good turf sprints before.
Yeah, and once again, I think she's going to maybe fall through the cracks a little bit from a value standpoint. Crystal Pier will get to play, as will Dukas, who was bet down to like 7-5 last time out. But more stormy weather, likes the turf course at Laurel. I'm going to just throw out the race at Pimlico over that yielding turf course where she was called wide. This is the type of filly she'll hang every now and then, but she likes to be covered up. I think she's going to get a dream trip inside. She's got enough speed to stay fairly close. Her tries at Laurel are good enough. You go back last summer, she beats the likes of Dancing Lucy. She's the type that went up, won an allowance, ran well in Open 25. More stormy weather. I like her first or second. Definitely my key in race 5.
Now, talking about the pace in the race, I would imagine Silver Tracor is going to show some speed in there. We do have the scratch of No More Excuses, who figured to be part of the pace. But do you think that Silver Tracor might be the speed of the speed, and then more stormy weather just sitting behind her?
She could sit just behind her. I think, Ermine and Purse used to have a little speed. She had trouble. Sippy Cup, no. Just Fun and You, maybe. Could force it, as will So Royal. But Silver Tracor, she is pretty quick, especially
fast.
that opening quarter mile. Yeah, I see she sprints away a couple lengths. And I think, more storm weather, she could get first run turning for home.
That's the more I look at this race and the pace dynamic, she's not going to be too far off the pace. Now, the 10 Fortuitous, I like in here too. I think she's a sneaky price play for sure. Sergio Perdenas. I like the fact that not only does she get in with a light weight, but last time out, I thought she kind of outran her odds, and 2 starts back when she was going against similar company and what she faces today with trouble. It wasn't a bad race. And that's really the only 2 races that you can work off of in terms of her turf sprint. So she's not impossible to maybe throw in at a price.
No, Southern Peach is okay. We'll see her later. Fortuitous, I like the protect move. She was going real sour on the dirt.
Yeah.
And now she's been back on the turf. She, 2 tries, and she's run legitimately well both times. Don't let that 59 2-back scare you. She's the type that she ran last time. Charm City, Hug a Tree, those horses fit with this group.
All right, that is the 5th race. As we turn the page to the 6th on the card, we head out to the main track at 6 furlongs for non-winners of 2 and for that $10,000 to $8,000 tag. And we have the 2 Jazz Jewel in here, your top selection, and we'll show a video spotlight replay.
Yeah, a little video spotlight of the Jazz Jewel back May 4th at Laurel, race 2 that afternoon, if we can get that. You see, comes out of the gate, the 2 horse down to the inside, the gray. There we go, guys. And comes out fairly well. Maybe, just a
swishing her tail.
Just a little bit. Swishes her tail. Looks like she wanted to go. And, all the horses kind of more aggressively ridden to her outside. And Stevie Hamilton goes ahead and takes a hold. And he kind of, just fights her a little bit. He doesn't want to really relax. Gets the horse to the outside. Through the final 1/8 of a mile, this horse keeps trying. Everything's Magic was a Trombetta runner that just ran off the screen. This drop, the aggressive move for a barn. They don't have a lot of horses. Maybe it's time. We've got to go ahead and drop. We've got to get some money, maybe pay a few bills. Jazz Jewel looking at this race, not a lot of speed. I think with an alert break, Steve might just let her drop her head and let her go. And I think or anything close to that number gets it done, because I think Bring Me Answers, she's just not the same horse right now. Did not like the way she showed no resistance at all last time when they came to her.
That's a good point. And watching that replay from the break, it kind of scares me a little bit because she's got an inside post position. So if she doesn't break, she might get caught in the same position. But that's a lot of ifs, and she's taking a drop in class. She'll be a decent price. I didn't mind the 5 Beautiful Night Sky. I like the move that Mike Trombetta is doing here because she took so long to break her maiden. She finally broke it against restricted New York bred company at Belmont in the slop. And they tried the turf with her, try to wake her up a little bit. She's not going to wake up. No. She needs to drop down to the bottom.
They snuck away with the win up there for the maiden 40 state bred. They got away with an easier race. She runs a 48, 3 back. For maiden 16s. This is the right spot. Like I said, there's not a lot of speed in this race, so she should stay fairly close and be able to make a move into it, and certainly has the bottom off of that 1:70 turf try.
And Bring Me Answers, I know you don't like her performance last time out, and nor do I, but I do think that maybe the cutback in distance is the right move for her.
Well, she just exploded. First time off the claim at 7 furlongs. So then tried a mile 16th, a mile 16th, a mile again. They were trying to get her on the turf. But last time out, it looked like she was just walking the dog and just showed, give me a little fight. And she didn't have anything around the final turn, a significant drop here. They got the win off the claim, and they're going to try to squeeze one more out of her. We'll see. She's going to be a short price. I'm going to go against her, and they'll probably beat me.
I am worried about the 2 Jazz Jewel. As you saw on my pick 6 ticket, if I could afford it, I probably would have gone 3 deep and used the 2 in here, but trying my best to just have faith in Mike Trombetta with Beautiful Night Sky and Kieran McGee with Bring Me Answers. But tricky race as we get to an even trickier race. The 7th race. This is a 16,000 non-2 lifetime going a mile and an eighth on the turf. And oh, my gosh, where do you want to start here? Because I actually do have a pretty decent opinion about Fed Up, Fired Up, and I'll get to her in a momentarily. But you had you wanted to show a replay, I believe, in here of Ice-T.
No,
I know that's the next
that's
race.
the next
sorry.
race. That's
sorry
all
about that.
Maybe you should go to that one because
No.
this race I have no
Okay,
clue.
you like the one.
Yeah.
Fair Me. So
Fair Me.
talk about this filly.
I mean, I just look at her lone turf try. She runs a 59 buyer. Nobody's really going past that. Fed Up, Fired Up with a 60 last time. And that was a pretty good race. Magician's Vanity ran really sharp and I think came back and encountered a lot of trouble the next time out. Got further off the pace than I probably would have liked her. That was a race where there was a runaway leader. And sometimes it's just tough for the riders and even the horses. Sometimes they see the pack, a couple horses get away. Throws a real wrench into the flow of the race. I think looking at this field, maybe My Vixen kind of goes out and sets the pace, but Fair Me, I think, can be a little bit closer than what she was in that lone turf try, and the number works for me. I think it's a class drop, certainly. I think she showed a little bit of late life last time out. Extra ground does not bother me at all.
I'm not going to fault you with going there. Instead, I did land on the 7 Fed Up, Fired Up. I'm going to give her one more shot. This is probably going to be the divorce today if she doesn't win because she is starting to rack up those defeats. But I like the fact that Steve Hamilton hops aboard today. And if you go back and watch her last replay, she broke way to the outside, and it seemed like Angel Cruz had no option but to take her way back from off the pace to try to save ground going into the first turn. So you can't fault him for that, but she was very far back off the pace. After that, she was very wide and at the quarter pole trying to make that move, and then she was making that move. Her energy was really good coming down the stretch, and unfortunately she had to alter course because the winner was going all over the place. So I really didn't think that it was that bad of a performance considering that she was the beaten favorite. I thought she had excuses.
When you're looking at her, she looks like she wants to be the bridesmaid more than she wants, but she's run consistently faster than these horses over the last 3 races. She just kind of churns on. She looks like the extra ground is not going to bother her one bit. Yeah, the move to Stevie Hamilton's okay, and she's shown with a more alert break she can lay a little bit closer, which I think will be advantageous in this race.
And with her, I thought that she had a couple more excuses than Pardon Tori's French. I know that she did steady a little bit, but I thought she had opportunity to maybe recover and show better energy coming down the stretch, and I just didn't see that from her.
Agreed. I do think the closing punch of Fed Up, Fired Up is better than Pardon Tori's French. Maybe a bomb shot to use, the 10 Sweet Curls. Kieran just trying to figure this one out, claimed for 16,000, ran back on a little bit of a raise. Didn't really kind of kick in at all. We're going to pick up Ashley Castrense, drop a little weight today. This horse has a couple decent numbers going long and was gaining at the end of those races at the mile and a 16th over this turf course. Another one. I've got line probably a little bit too high at 15, but looking at this race, should be prices abound. I can't see the favorite any higher than about 5 to 2, 3 to 1.
I'll tell you what, if you like a horse, bet it because you're going to get a good price on it. This is value abound here. I didn't think Expect a Kitten was impossible. First off the claim for King Leatherberry coming back to the turf, has a little bit of class on the turf. My Vixen, distance is questionable, but I think that if she can get out on the front end, maybe she could steal it, but your one horse Fair Me could put a little bit of a wrench in there too. So this is a very tricky race to handicap, even from a pace dynamic, not even a class dynamic. I mean, there's a lot going on there, but like I said, it's a very, very good betting race. Let's get to the 8th race to kick off the final pick 3 of the day on this 10 race program. 1 turn mile for this $10,000 conditional claimer. The 1 Segovia is going to get bet, is probably the likely winner, but it's just a little slow sometimes.
Yeah, a little slow. And once again, another race you're talking about trying to figure out the flow, how this thing is going to to be set up. They put Segovia into the race last time. Now, granted, 48-2 is not blazing fast. Made a run, and I talked about this. Of course, I've been chasing Segovia, I said, nah, I'm done with him. I kept looking at this race. Balivor just looks too easy on the drop. And, the dirt numbers, you go back to the recent dirt numbers, they kind of tower. But one angle, Jose Corrales on a drop, these 50% drops, he's very strong. 6 for 13, 9 for 13 on this type of drop over the last couple of years with a ROI, $6.60. You're going to get a short price on Segovia. I just think this is the spot finally. I think Callie Francois drops a little bit of weight, can keep the leaders in sight. I don't think this horse has to be, ridden hard to keep pace, looking at the flow of the field. Maybe Ice-T, we've got video of, I think will be forward. But I think Segovia finally kind of gets the field. He can wear it down. Bull Ensign has no speed. He was hampered last time. Here we go. Here's Ice-T in a race. He was up close. He was only about a length and a half out of it after a quarter of a mile last time. But this 3-year-old decides, okay, I'm going to find a little bit more life from the 3-ace pole home, and we're going to see this horse really start ramping things up. Number 5, turning for home past the 5/16 for the run to the second wire. And, one step closer, was gone that day. You see the jock look around on the leader. What I like is just the sheer determination of Ice-T. He looks like he's just going to get engulfed by a few rivals, a couple to the outside, one to his inside, but he keeps churning on, shifts out a little bit wider through the stretch, closes up nicely in a final time that works. 37-4, decent enough. He's got more speed than I think what he showed. I think the way one step closer was just so sharp last time. I think Ice-T can go a long way in here. I think he's going to be forward a long, long way.
All right. Well, Ice-T, I think, could be I didn't see a lot of pace in here. So I think Ice-T could maybe secure that position. Mischievous Dan, I don't think, is going to be too far off of the pace either. And this is who I like to upset the apple cart. He just kind of freaked last time out, and I know they dropped it. They put him in for that non-2, which was the right move for this 3-year-old. But he won visually pretty impressively, and not only that, we saw Impressive Way come out of that race. He earned a 66 Beyer speed figure for his victory yesterday, so he improved. That horse improved about 12, 15 points.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
so
because he was like a
him?
47 exactly.
Yeah,
he was very convincing winning Mischievous Dan. So. Yeah, I'll take Segovia, Ice-T. I mean, once again, we kind of like the informed 3-year-olds with the 2 and the 3 going against some maybe lackluster olders. We'll see how it all pans out in race 8. But no slam dunk winner, I don't think, in the 8.
No, I don't think so. I just I really like Mischievous Dan, especially the way that Impressive Way won yesterday. So why not? He's going to have to run a faster race than what he did last time out to win, and Segovia is going to have to run his slowest race. There's a lot that needs to happen, but he's 10-1 on the morning line, so we'll take our shot.
Okay.
We get to the 9th race, our featured race of the day. This is a first-level allowance, 5.5 furlongs onto the turf, and we have a video spotlight replay just to kind of talk about this horse. This was going back to the 7th of May, and an explosive victory, first time going into the Hugh McMahon barn. Now, since then, he put her in she had a run over the yielding going at Pimlico, and then last time out in the M. Tyson Gilpin, drew the outermost post position, was still fast enough to secure that lead position. I thought she might have been a little bit outclassed, and that post didn't really help her considering her running style. Yeah. I don't think she's going to be the speed of the speed in here, but she could just sit off the pace.
You're right. That 3-back try, the try off the layoff, I think will work. And last time out from that outside post, there was some other speed there inside. Maybe they said, hey, we've got to kind of go get position. She was I did not expect her to be on the lead, especially in those kind of internal fractions. She did it. She's going to be able to draft right into it today with the speed of Miss Eileen. Sarah's Whispers got speed. So, Northern Eclipse, the horse to beat, she's going to fall into a great trip. She'll probably be right up on them. And make a move up her stretch. Southern Peach, I'll take a shot, maybe a little bit of a higher price. First time in the barn for Dale Cap. One of our squirrel is taking
We got a little friend
aim
here,
on
and he's
us.
scaring me. He's getting closer and closer. Please don't jump on me.
But Southern Peach, 2 wins in a row. I go back. She has good enough figures back in those allowance races in the past, going back to the last summer into the fall. Good enough. She gets a good tracking position outside. A little bit better price. Her, Northern Eclipse, and maybe even Sazerac Girl. She just kind of consistent as can be. Is she going to be able to win it? She loves running second.
Yes, she doesn't always like to get her picture taken in the winner's circle. But the 8 Southern Peach, and she could win. I think that she is definitely a big threat to the favorite in here. The way I see it, though, is that you know, King, he was running her, he was protecting her for so long against Maiden Special Weight Company, Allowance Company, and she couldn't quite break through. So during the winter, they dropped her down for the 5. She was competitive enough, was claimed, and in her past 2 starts, she's coming out of back-to-back victories, but that was because they put her in for that Open 75. And I almost wonder if she just can't quite get through at the A other than level.
I think this type of A other than this group might be enough, because you know, a lot of times you see this hard knocking Open 75s. I mean, those are the horses that have gone through their conditions, maybe 1 or 2 conditions, maybe getting a little bit long in the tooth, and they settle in. You go back. I mean, look who My Sister Caro, Dare to Be. She's only beaten a length with trouble against those horses.
Yep.
I do think she fits nicely, and you know, and the barn maybe got a little bit lucky first off the claim, catching this kind of field for the price, for the purse that she's going to be running for.
Before we move on to the finale, when I was re-looking at this race, other than the 3 that pretty much pop off the page at you, the 1, 8, and the 9, I thought the 2 Claire's Dowry might be one to use on the bottom of some tickets, or just to try to get creative to bulk up, you know, some of those multi-race bets, because she had sneaky trouble last time out. It was a very good race. Fly, I think she's got a lot of talent. We saw contributing come out of that race to win. Not only that, she was recently second behind Shimmery and Aspen. So overall, she might not be the best turf sprinter, but I think she's got some class to her.
Yeah, and this isn't a real big field, so she might be able to kind of draft inside and gain a lot quicker than being hung wide around that turn. You see that move on this inner turf course on the bowl game down at, you know, the inside move, then the tip out, and then they go. I think that could be the plan for the 2 Claire's Dowry. But she's got to get into it by the upper stretch. She really falls far back.
She's on the turf, though. That's it. It's just the turf. She's not too far off of it on the dirt, but on the turf, she just falls way back off the pace. All right, that is the feature race of the day. A nice little race. We get to the 10th and final race. This is 6 furlongs on the main track for this maiden $25,000 race. And, hey, we finally agree on the last race of the day. What do you like about True Cat?
And once again, a default pick, Big City Blues scratch. But True Cat, looking at it, I guess the Trombetta horse, you know, $180,000 purchase 2 years ago at the 2-year-old sales down in Ocala. We haven't seen this horse since. Finally gets to the races. You know, spotted in for the tag, an aggressive move, should be live. But True Cat, I just like the play. Based off the play this horse took, give it a pass on the muddy sealed surface and the turf try. I think this horse has certainly enough speed. Maybe Jazz Loverman goes out, but this horse, I think this is the right kind of spot to drop in. First tag on the dirt for Hammy. Good angle for him.
And it wasn't a bad race. I mean, Hill Shadow came back, was recently second in an A other than, got about a 79.80 Beyer speed figure for that win. Dundalk came back out to win sprinting on the turf. So the top 2 finishers in there have actually kept very good form. He was, well, defeated in that race, but who knows what he can do on the drop and then on a fast main track. So there are a lot of things to like about True Cat. I am a bit dubious of the 1 Super Colors, not only rail post position, debuting at 4, first time gelding, big purchase, $25,000 tag, a couple of red flags there, but I think you must use him protectively in those multi-race bets. And then last but not least, going to be using the 7 Voo Dude for Annette Eubanks, who isn't bad, but could just meet the right field today.
This is a good spot for Voo Dude. You look back at the 2-back sprint, good enough, encounter trouble, stumbling at the break, down inside. Last time out, Clubman gets it, runs off the screen. I like the shortening up. This barn does well off a decent sample, a good ROI for this kind of move. And out of that Clubman race, leather goods yesterday. Absolutely whistled. So out of that key race, a Voo Dude should be right in the mix in the finale.
All right. Well, that is the finale. We took you through races 1 through 10. You like the first half of the card, the early pick 4, so good luck on your ticket. Maybe get a nice bankroll for the late pick 5 or the pick 6. We've got that carryover in the pick 6 today. $5,200, and that does kick off in the 5th race on this 10-race program. So do take note. We've got that All-American Barbecue happening on the apron. We've got that All-American Handicapping Challenge, too. Go up to Guest Services to get more information on that. It's going to be a beautiful day. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday afternoon on Today at the Races, and best of luck on today's card.
Good luck.
Equestricon.
Equestricon.
The first ever international racing convention.
The first ever. For the fans.
Meet the legends.
breeders, the owners.
The jockeys like me.
The best of the industry.
Come celebrate racing at EquestriaCon.